We know the joy of giving is its own reward. But who says you can't get something for yourself, too? Now when you buy Vanilla Visa gift cards, you can enter to win one of over 10 prizes every week for 10 weeks, including a grand prize of $10,000 in Vanilla gift cards. So get gifting and start sharing the delight for more chances to win. Go to get-gifting.com to learn more and enter for your chance to win. Cards are issued by the Bancorp Bank, MetaBank, and Sutton Bank, members FDIC, pursuant to a license from Visa USA Inc., and may be used in the U.S. everywhere Visa debit cards are accepted. Terms and conditions apply. Cards distributed and serviced by Income Financial Services Inc., which is licensed as a money transmitter by the New York State Department of Financial Services. NMLS ID number 912772.
ADHD, now driving me crazy. I don't wanna take this, you're gonna have to make me. ADHD, I don't wanna take this, I feel like I've been lately.
Welcome to Hooligan Radio, the podcast that talks movies, gaming, cryptids, true crime, conspiracies, and whatever else we want to talk about, including apparently a real-life orphan that Zach's going to talk about today. But first, how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great on this beautiful day.
I'm doing great. By the time this comes out, one of our tried and true friends, friend of the podcast, will be officially married. So
Congrats.
this is my last non-exhausted day for the next 5 days, probably.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Usually how it goes.
So, Zach, I already kind of brought it up, but what do you got for us today?
So I've been seeing this article on a bunch of different news sources all over the place for the last week. And my title that I put in there really doesn't give it justice with Real Life Orphan, but essentially, you both have seen the movie Orphan, where essentially someone they adopt a child, and that child essentially is much older than what they thought she was. I can't remember the exact age in the movie, but essentially, adopt a girl in her 20s, tries to kill the family, and essentially, this is what's happening for one family in real life.
So they to assume I've seen a movie before.
I imagined you at least heard of it.
That's all you need to know about the movie. It's not that big of a deal.
I already ruined the movie for you, so there it is.
Okay.
But essentially, this Indiana family adopted a 6-year-old, or who they thought was a 6-year-old Ukrainian girl that they thought had dwarfism. But essentially, they found out that, or it's theory that she's actually a 22-year-old woman from the Ukraine, who is a suspected sociopath due to the several attempts, quote-unquote, several attempts to murder the mother of the family.
Damn, dude, that sounds fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's to the point where the mother, Christine Barnett, who was 45, and her ex-husband, Michael Barnett, 43, actually got a divorce over this because she is so convinced that she is much older than she seems, and he believes that this is an actual child. And there's a lot that goes into this to support both sides. It even got so bad for Christine, they ended up renting this child / adult. I don't know how I'm going to refer to her for the rest of this article, but rented her own apartment just to get her out of the house because they were so terrified of her. And then the family fled to Canada to get away. And now the family is actually facing charges of child endangerment for this.
So has it actually been proven that she is in her 20s, or is that just like this one doctor thinks so?
So this is where it starts to get really shady or really mixed, because they've taken her to some doctors and some bone density tests have been done where the expected age for her has been placed in the 20s. One doctor specifically even said 22, and other doctors are actually saying she's still in that child range, but a little bit older. When they originally adopted her, they thought she was around 9 years old, 6 years old, but they're saying that maybe she could be like 10 or 9 or something like that. But there's also some doctors that are saying she's much older. Christina's even come out and said in an interview that she believes she's much older because she has a lot of different bodily things going on, such as when she would give her baths, she would have full pubic hair at the age of 6. She would already have periods. The way that she talks is much more adult-like. She's even threatened to stab the family. She has smeared blood on mirrors. She tried poisoning the family. Like, there's a bunch of different things that are going on with this.
Yeah, I mean, just from those accounts, if that is true, obviously she has to be at least in her teenage years. But so this article says it's an emergency adoption. Do you really know much of like how they came in contact with actually adopting her? Like, did she have parents or something?
So unfortunately, I don't know. I didn't dig deep enough into exactly how or why she was adopted and why it was considered emergency adopted. At least from a little bit I read from a different article than the one I posted here, the family was able, essentially got in touch with someone who was saying that she needed to get adopted through contact with her son. Christine's son, is actually, I believe he's on the spectrum with autism, but he's also considered a child genius, and he is actually teaching like physics classes as a teenager in college currently.
What the fuck?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things going on with the family. A couple other things that they quoted in here of saying, I already brought up the fact that she tried poisoning one of them. She was jumping out of moving cars too, as well. Like, just doing a lot of erratic behavior, as well as acting a lot more adult-like than she should be.
So, I know you said they did bone density tests, but like, wouldn't a good way to like tell the age should be like to look at the brain? Because isn't your brain like not fully formed until you're like 25?
That is a good question that I wish I had the answer to. Some of the other tests that they actually did bring up as well that they ran is that they looked at her teeth, which she is supposedly has full grown teeth, like full adult teeth, instead of having any baby teeth left whatsoever. And not just like teeth coming in like already fully developed adult teeth. Brought up the density test. Actually, she might have, when one of the articles, and again, unfortunately, it's not this one because I was looking at a bunch of different places, getting a bunch of different sources. They did run some sort of scan on her just to see like the development of the brain, and they also projected that she was much older than at least 6, but they didn't give an actual age range for that test.
I just like going through looking at these pictures. I was like, if this bitch tried to kill me more than one time, I don't know, dog. She might have to go down.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky slope. But like I said, the family's actually being charged for child endangerment because of them essentially getting her own apartment to get her away from the family because they were so scared of her. So in the U.S. system, as of right now, they're counting her as a child. But this is what's actually getting a lot more into the news because for whatever reason, this started around 4 years ago, but they were just charged with child endangerment about 2 to 3 weeks ago.
Damn.
Yeah, so luckily this is a story that should continue. We should continue to get more and more information regarding, and I'll continue to look more and more into it to keep everybody updated with it. But I find this absolutely fascinating that the entire plot for the movie Orphan is essentially coming to life.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at least the girl in that movie looked like a child.
Yeah.
I just want to know how many times we've said that we're going to keep people updated and we just never did.
I think the closest thing to actually keeping people updated was the Area 51 Naruto run.
Yeah, and we didn't even do a good job of that. So, I guess I'll go next. So, it's 2 interesting things really have happened in the last week in the gaming sphere. Outside of all of the League of Legends hype that I've been spewing all over the internet. The PlayStation 5 was announced for 2020 holiday, but there wasn't any big event or anything. It was just a tweet from the official PlayStation account, and they have not come out and said that that was a mistake. So I guess the PlayStation 5 is coming out next year, holiday. No big shebang, no announcement, no coupling it with a bunch of marketing. It was just a tweet with a link, I think. I actually haven't... I've seen the official tweet. I just didn't click on the link because I was at work. But yeah, so that happened. I don't know what the play there was, Sony, or if there even is one, but who knows? I guess the hype train had to take off from somewhere.
It's got to get people talking.
I guess. I feel like you could have got a lot more people talking by doing something a lot crazier, like a media blast or something. I don't know. At least post it on multiple social medias, not just one. I don't know. It was weird. It still is weird. Maybe we'll find out more details as the world goes on, but as of right now, we're getting the next iteration of consoles next year, it sounds like.
So I'm reading the article actually. It looks like really the only details they put in there, besides I guess confirming at least for the moment that it's being called PlayStation 5, is that they put two new innovations to the controller. They said that they adopted haptic feedback to replace the rumble technology. So I'm assuming that means they're changing, instead of your controller vibrating, putting in something else. I'm not sure, Isaiah, if you know what haptic feedback is.
Yeah, it's kind of like the next iteration of the HD rumble that you got with the Joy-Con. It's supposed to be more... It's supposed to be more than just a controller shaking whenever shit happens to you.
Okay. Yeah, the example they give here is they basically says it'll be more broad so that crashing into a wall with a race car will feel much different than making a tackle on a football field. So I guess that's a pretty good explanation of that. And then the second thing they said they're innovating with the controller is called adaptive triggers. So they're going to make the trigger buttons, basically they're going to program the resistance of the trigger so that you can feel the tactile sensation of drawing a bow and arrow or acceleration of an off-road vehicle. So basically kind of the same thing as before, but not only just the vibration, but also using the left and right triggers, making it feel more realistic to the activity that you're doing.
Yep. So, yeah,
that's literally...
happened.
Yeah, so that's all they say in the article is just about the controller and that they're coming out holiday 2020, which is odd that that's what you lead your launch article with, but okay.
I feel like people have just been waiting for too long. They had to just break the ice, throw it out there.
Yeah, but that's just not the video game way. Like, if I came up to you and I was like, hey, man, guess what's coming out? And they're like, what? And you're like, Half-Life 3. And you'd be like, oh, did you just tweet this for no fucking reason? But whatever. I'm probably PC Master Race from here on out, so...
All I want to know is, will I be able to play
watch porn
4K?
on it? Yeah, you probably will be able to.
Will I be able to... Well, I mean, you could do that now, but will I be able to play 4K DVDs on there, or is it still going to just be Blu-ray? Because that's, I feel like, the one advantage Xbox has over it right now.
I don't know. I've never bought a DVD before. That's a lie. I own like 2 DVDs, but in this day and in this economy, DVDs, crazy.
We live in a society.
We live in a society, and that's controversial to say. You know what the next controversial thing to say is? Anything against the Chinese government if you want to play a Blizzard Activision game on stream. Oh, yeah. So, popular Hearthstone streamer from China voiced his opinions that he was in support of the Hong Kong protests. And Blizzard Activision banned his account on the premise of he was saying things that could make other people uncomfortable. So,
oh my god.
Yeah, it's really fucked. And I don't really want to get us banned off the air in China because I know how many people love our show there, but yeah, so Blizzard Activision probably were approached by, or they weren't even approached. They could have been, but they didn't want to lose their ability to publish games in that country, especially because they make so much money over there because there's so many people playing Blizzard games over there, that they had banned this popular Hearthstone streamer with no really time frame that he's going to be able to come back or anything. If you don't know about the protests going on over there, I suggest you look it up. This is not the place to be informed about the world society and all that stuff. We're just talking about pop culture things, but yeah. So that has led to a bunch of other different gaming companies being like, "We won't ban you if you like what you like," and then
What a selling point.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that holds whenever the hammer comes down and you can't make any profits off of the billions of people that live in China. So we'll see. Yeah, it sucks because that streamer lost a bunch of money because he can't compete in the tournaments anymore because he's banned. So that guy's livelihood was all destroyed with a few remarks about how he believes, but it's probably it sucks, but a lot of people were put in between a rock and a hard place because of the Chinese government, and something's got to give, right? That's what they always say.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened this week. Josh, what do you got for us this week?
Well, no news this week. We're back to the good old top 3. And
I missed it so much.
and I love the authenticity there from Zach.
Yeah, I know. So much enthusiasm.
I'm sorry. I'm like half here.
Yeah, you all right?
No, I'm just long week.
All right, well, let's keep Zach in our prayers. But with that being said, when this comes out,
Yeah, I'm about to send him my thoughts and prayers.
positive vibes your way through this Discord chat.
I feel them.
Zombieland 2 is coming out this weekend. This weekend being when this comes out. And so I figured why not do top 3 zombie properties. Movies, video games, TV, comic books, audiobooks, whatever you want. Anything that includes zombies. And it's going to be Zach starting off, then Isaiah, then myself. So Zach, whenever you're ready, go ahead with your number 1 pick.
Number 1 is going to be the best one on this list to start, and it's going to be the Left 4 Dead series.
Yep, that's true facts.
Yep.
Nice.
I can't think of a more iconic zombie video game series besides another one that I have on my list later, but I would still put the Left 4 Dead series over that one. Such a great game. Changed the way that people viewed zombies, especially in video games, instead of the slow, crawling, typical zombie-esque game that you always played. Now bringing in this fast-paced zombies, different sort of types of zombies with the hunters, with the big boomers. Just such a fun overall game too. Definitely changed the way the zombie video games were made.
Yep, I'd have to agree. That's a pretty good one, but I'm going to stand up and take probably one of the most influential narratives I've ever played through in a video game sphere and go with I don't know what Josh is going to pick, but I know that I should Last of Us. I'm going with The Last of Us. I have to. It's the best zombie game ever, I think. I think narratively driven, it's probably one of the best. While Left 4 Dead may have been more fun to play, the narrative in The Last of Us is probably one of the best zombie narratives and the most interesting take on zombies I've ever seen. I'm going to have to go with The Last of Us.
I mean, you're right. It's definitely the best narrative zombie game, but
yeah, I can definitely see.
I can't even argue that. There's no but in there.
Are you excited for the second one, Isaiah?
I am. Every trailer gets me more and more hyped.
Nice. My first pick, I guess I'll break up the kind of flow here and do a movie. I'm actually gonna go with Zombieland, the original one. I feel like
mine.
I thought that was cheating, since this was an honor for Zombieland.
Well, it's for Zombieland too, but I mean, Zombieland, when you think about zombie movies, I think Zombieland was like that perfect mix of like commenting on zombie movies while still being a good zombie movie itself. And that's a really hard balance to have of where you're parodying the original thing, but you're also what you're parodying, but both things are good. Like it works as a zombie movie and as a parody of zombie movies. So I think that's kind of rare. So that's why it's one of my favorites.
Okay.
And then my second one is going to be Call of Duty Zombies. I mean, come on.
That was on my list.
I mean, it's one of the few things that keep me coming back to Call of Duty every year is getting to play the zombies. And I'm not even like a
Why I
huge
bought
into the
two Call of Duty games was 4 zombies and nothing else.
yeah, and I'm not even huge into like finishing it and all those things. I've tried, I'm just not good enough. But just playing the mode in general, always enjoyable. So I'm gonna go there. Isaiah, back to you.
It's got to come back to your boy, obviously, because I'm going to pull out this sleeper. I would say it's probably one of the top, for me, movies. I'm going to have to go with Shaun of the Dead.
Great one.
Also on my list. Great movie.
Talking about parody zombie movies, I actually don't think that I enjoy a lot of the real zombie movies. So Zombieland was definitely on my list. And then Shaun of the Dead. I think that movie has way more memeable moments than what's come through, but I still think about the him loading the. I think that actually is in that movie, but I'm not sure. It could be in Hot Fuzz with the meme of the guy who's loading the shotgun. He's like, shame. But yeah, I'd have to go with Shaun of the Dead.
Also a good one. Well, you took the only movie I had in my entire list of like 5, just in case people took them.
I sunk your battleship.
You did. So I'm going to have to bring us back into the video game realm, and I'm going to go with the series Dead Rising. I think Dead Rising was actually one of the first games I ever purchased when I got my Xbox 360, and I have put numerous hours into that game. For second one was good, not as good as the first one, but still overall great game. For those of you who haven't played it, essentially a zombie game that takes place in a shopping mall, a huge shopping mall. So you get to essentially use any sort of thing that you could imagine in a shopping mall to use to fight zombies with, as well as just to customize your guy. But it was also cool with the sense of it. You had this super big open world that you could play, but it did keep you somewhat limited in time. So certain people or certain events would only happen within certain time ranges. So you had to be conscious of that when you're playing the story mode. So it definitely give you a lot of replayability, making sure you won't go and experience every single part of the game as a whole. And I guess I'm going again. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep, your last one.
All right. And my last one is going to be the Resident Evil franchise, because I feel like that has to be thrown on here for just everything it's done for. I guess that could be considered movies, because there's been several movies made from that.
That's bullshit.
Movies,
you just took so much
video
zombie
games.
shit out of the fucking world.
I took it all. I honestly took a good quarter of it.
There's like 5 Resident Evil games, and no, there's like 7 Resident Evil games.
Yeah.
5 Resident Evil movies.
So that franchise alone just comes as 11. And honestly, they're all pretty solid. I mean, there's a few in there that are, but overall, franchise is doing really good. And it's not like it's dead either.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what my third one will be now that you've just eliminated basically all of the fucking zombie shit in the world.
And you're welcome.
And I'm gonna have to go Plants vs. Zombies. Fuck you.
Nice.
That game fucking slaps, and it's got zombies in it. And that's it. That's all I gotta say about it, because I only played like 100 hours of it, so I don't know that much about it.
Yeah, no, that's like a top 5 like defense game or castle defense, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
maybe even number 1, to be honest.
it could be. It's probably the most known. Competing with Bloons Tower Defense.
I was about to say, you have to give Bloons Tower Defense at least a shout out.
All right, we're changing it up.
Defense game.
Best tower defense games. Ready?
1 through 4.
All right, so then for my last one, I'm gonna go with something maybe a little bit less known. This is a short film. It's called A Ride in the Park. It was part of the anthology film VHS 2, and basically it's from the point of view of a GoPro. It's about a 20-minute short film where a guy's riding his bike through the woods with his GoPro on, and then gets attacked by a zombie. So it turns him into a zombie. So then you spend the rest of the short film from the perspective of the zombie. And he comes upon like a birthday party with little kids, and then like there's other zombies with him. You see him eating other zombies. It's a really kind of reversal from your normal zombie flick. You get to see the point of view of the zombie, and the effects in it and the makeup are really, really well done. It's all practical and it gets pretty gory. So I would recommend, you could probably, if you looked it up, find it. It's called A Ride in the Park. But if you want to watch it in the entire film, VHS 2, by far the best of the VHS series. I like all of those segments, but A Ride in the Park was definitely up there for me.
That was a really good short. I completely forgot about it till you brought it up, but that was really good. But half of it though is not just the zombies; it's also like him being chased by the zombies, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, like the first portion of it is him being chased by the zombies, and then once he becomes one, almost halfway through, then it's like the point of view of the zombies. So you kind of get two cool parts there. I found it really interesting. It's something that I revisit. I revisit VHS 2 pretty regularly when it comes to horror movies, because there's that one. There's the demon cult short film in there. There's a lot of pretty good ones. So, but that one,
VHS was just so good overall. I'm so mad the last one tore to pieces.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Any honorable mentions we want to put in here?
I feel like we got to say Night of the Living Dead, the original zombie movie franchise. Not really for me, but it really is what started it all.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the fucking crazy one that everybody fucks off about, but it's like not that good in my eyes?
Movie or video game?
Controversial opinion in 3, 2, what is the one with the slow zombies? Walking Dead? The Walking Dead? Are you talking about the... Yeah,
TV
the
series?
bad one. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah, Walking Dead. Yeah, never seen it.
Wow,
but it's been out for like 18 years.
God,
So
how do we at least not say that?
Because I watched like 6 episodes of it and the zombies didn't run, so... But how are we going to fuck off and say all this shit and not bring up I Am Legend, the fucking GOAT? The GOAT!
That was also a good one.
I said fucking Plants vs. Zombies. I couldn't even think of Will Smith.
Three.
Yeah, dude, it's hard
biased.
because Zach's racist and doesn't like Will Smith.
My God, I just don't like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
He doesn't like Will
That is
Smith.
it. But,
all right, next top three reasons Fresh Prince is great.
True facts.
Or just
Number
top three Will Smith
one.
roles.
Born in West Philadelphia, born and raised.
in Philadelphia, though?
Guys, I just realized Gemini Man is coming out, so we're doing top 3 Will Smith roles next week.
Yes, yes.
Book it right now.
Yes.
All right.
I am literally Daniel Bryan right now, bro. Yes.
We're gonna be a little bit. It's gonna be a little bit late because Gemini Man comes out. Will have come out this past weekend when this comes out, but fuck it, we have to do.
Well, then we have to see Gemini Man so we can put it at number 1.
See it, play it, skip it. See it, play it, see it, play it, skip it.
All right, what a great theme that was for See It, Play It, Skip It. So, let's jump it in here.
Skip it.
Yeah, so let's jump.
It.
Yeah, let's jump in here.
All right, just cut it all out. Welcome to See It, Play It, Skip It.
Me and Zach both saw Joker. Zach, you saw it more recently, right? Just the other day. So,
my God, yes.
So you want to go ahead and jump in first, and then I'll follow up?
I don't even know what to say.
This will be spoiler-free, just in case you haven't seen Joker. You don't have to worry. We're not going to go into really any spoilers. But with that being said, there's not that much to spoil about this film, really. but we're not going to talk about specifics.
I'm still processing that movie. I thought it was extremely well made. It follows. This was a DC movie, correct? Like,
yes.
It was still made by the same. Okay. It definitely
Warner Brothers. Yeah.
Yes, definitely keeps that same vibe of dark, intense movies. I think this one takes the cake for me of truly the most dark and truly the most intense movie I've seen from DC in probably the last couple of years, I would even say. Wow. But I don't want to say it makes you feel empathy for the Joker, but I love this concept of building the backstory of these villains and actually giving you the reason why they're doing this or how they became the person they were. And not only was a great movie overall, I thought it did an amazing job at showing and talking about mental illness. What were your thoughts on it, Josh?
What I thought about the movie, when I first came out of it, I was a little bit disappointed just because I felt like the hype was so strong leading up to it. All the controversy, all the people saying, "Oh, this movie's gonna, cause riots and shootings and all this stuff," and it really wasn't that. Like, I didn't feel that watching the movie. Like, it didn't. None of the events in the movie made me think like, "Wow, this is gonna be bad for people to see." But with that being said, I do agree with you that as a film, it's very, very well made. The cinematography was surprisingly very good. The direction was very good. The whole movie is essentially Joaquin Phoenix's performance. He basically has to carry the entire film, and he does successfully.
He does. Yeah, 100% he puts his film on his back and runs with it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of another character that even had like more than 5 to 10 minutes of screen time. So it's really the whole thing is Joaquin Phoenix's character. You're really just following him in his life from basically his lowest point to becoming the Joker. And I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed seeing that unfold. With that being said, and this might sound a little bit weird, I'm not a comic book guy or anything, but I felt almost like this movie was at times like held back by being a Joker movie, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like this was a really good movie about someone's mental illness and like society and rich versus poor and a lot of those issues, and it just packaged itself, especially towards the end of the movie, in a Joker movie so that A, people actually went and saw it, and B, so that it was a little bit more commercially acceptable, because this could just be a movie about a guy who goes crazy and makes a big impact on the city that he lives in with his actions. But it's also like towards the end of the movie, like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm Joker also. Mm-hmm. So that part of it was kind of weird to me. But with that being said, I don't care. I'm not a comic book guy. I wasn't going in being like, this better be super faithful to the comics. Like, I don't care. So I enjoyed seeing a much different take on a super villain. And I did really enjoy it. I don't really have any negatives about it. It's just an amazing performance. The only thing I can really say is it's a slow movie. It's not action-packed. It's not like a normal superhero movie. So if you...
I was about to say, I can't even really call it a superhero movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely no hero in it. But so I'm not going to say it's boring or anything because I was thoroughly entertained. But if someone saw it that wasn't super into this type of movie and was like, oh, that didn't really work for me, I was kind of bored, I would get it. I get that. Mm-hmm. But for someone that just appreciates the filmmaking and Joaquin Phoenix's performance, I really do think he has a shot at the best actor, at least a nomination for the Oscar with this performance. And it's definitely a see it for me. I give it an 8 out of 10. What about you, Zach?
I would also say it's a see it, and I would also give it an 8 out of 10 as well. You don't have to be a superhero movie fan to go see this movie. Like you said, if you just want to go see a really good film, go see this movie.
Huh. Sounds like I'm not going to see it.
Out of at least the last 10 episodes of movies we've talked about, I highly recommend this one that you go see. I think you would really enjoy this one, Isaiah.
Or at least just like I listened to you guys said that, I watched some chick's head get hit off by a pole, and everybody's like, ooh!
Well, I still don't understand that. That movie was great. I don't want to hear it.
Okay. All right. I mean, watch it eventually at home. Like, you don't got to rush out to the theater, but yeah, I would definitely say it's a see it at some point. But okay, so we could take a break for now and let Isaiah talk since he didn't see the movie. Isaiah, what do you got this week?
Yeah, it's awesome, bro. So, Worlds, it's happening. It's happening right now. It's been happening. It's gonna have happened while this episode comes out, and more crazy shit's gonna happen. Don't get me wrong, I'm just sitting on it's happening in Europe right now. Well, not right now, but kind of right now. So it's early in the morning, and I get up at like 7 in the morning, 6 in the morning on the weekend just to watch my fucking boys in NA represent, but we're fucked, dude. We're going against some Korean teams and some Chinese teams that are going to put us in our graves. Oh my god, it's so fun to watch, though. The casters are so hype, and there's so much action at one time that it's not like traditional sports where they're like, hey, all right, it's a 2-2 count. We're gonna that one was high into the outside, and oh man, you're just like, oh god, so much better for me for video games because I'm just like, so much shit happening. There's so much thing I'm learning about the game. It's so good. So yes, watch Worlds. If you know anything about League of Legends, even if you played 5 years ago, 10 years ago. They've added so many different regions. There's so many different teams. Last year and the year before that, what were considered the top 3 teams in the world did not win Worlds. So it's really a toss-up at this point who could go through and win. But there's not a lot of faith in the North America region. So I wouldn't expect us bringing home that trophy. But I would say that's a watch. Other than that, I haven't really had any time at home to play my computer other than play League because I watch Worlds and then the only thing I want to do is play League, so I come home and I play League. But other than that, I finally decided to try out Call of Duty Mobile because I had a lull in work today and I was like, what am I going to do while this test runs? And I downloaded Call of Duty Mobile, and first of all, I'm a fucking god. 1v1 me. So add me on Call of Duty Mobile. I don't know how, but 1v1, I'll wreck you. Second of all, it's like actually pretty good. They have Nuketown in it, which is obvious. That's like the #1 Call of Duty map of all time. They also have firing range, but I haven't played on it yet. But yeah, it's a pretty good mobile game. The controls are a little bit cumbersome, but that's how every phone game is for me. But yeah, I would check it out if you haven't. I mean, it's free. There's like loot boxes and stuff in it, but it's not like paid to win in any aspect that I've seen so far. And like I said, it's Call of Duty. If you like Call of Duty and you want to play Call of Duty on the go, you're not going to play it on the Switch. So play it on your phone.
Nice. I imagine Nuketown is just going to be on every Call of Duty till the day we die.
Yeah. Probably.
I ain't complaining.
Yeah, I'm a big Nuketown guy.
One. I'm not.
Got to throw that grenade over the house, get a triple kill. What's up? I got a UAV. Bye. Ready? I'm about to nuke you.
Yeah. 38 kills, 60 deaths.
Or yeah, whoever that is, bro. That ain't me, Chief.
That's
More
me.
like 68 kills, 3 deaths. What's up, motherfucker?
Me playing domination on Nuketown. Just straight to B every time.
Run straight to B, just die. I didn't get anybody that time. I'll get him next time.
So I did have one other movie that I watched just the other day. This is kind of an independent film, low budget horror movie. It's actually in theaters right now in a limited release, but I rented it on Vudu. So you can rent it right now, even though it is in some theaters. It's called Haunt. Essentially, the plot of the movie is a group of high schoolers find out about a haunted house. They go to it, and it's not your normal haunted house. It's pretty fucked up. And that's essentially the plot. It's really simple. It's really quick to get into the plot. There's going to be like 10, 15 minutes at the beginning of getting to know some characters before they arrive at the haunted house. And then shit just kind of goes crazy from there. And a lot of the stuff is practical. Like I said, it's low budget. It's nothing like a big, Hollywood horror movie, not a ton of jump scares or anything like that. They're definitely in there, but I really liked how for a long time in the movie, it plays with, is what is going on in this haunted house? Are people really dying? Like, are things getting really crazy? Or is it all your imagination? It plays with that for quite a long time. And it's not until the third act of the film where you really find out what's going on. And I really enjoyed it. I did have a bit higher hopes because the reason I watched it is because I was hearing a lot of hype about it. So I was wanting it to be a little bit better than it was because I've just been disappointed with really movies so far this year. So, but definitely still a see it. I think this will probably be free in a matter of months. So if you don't mind waiting until after the Halloween season and watching this like in the winter or spring, definitely a stream it once it gets onto some platforms. But right now it was only, I think it's $6 for me to rent it on Vudu. I think you can rent it for like $5 standard definition. So definitely a rent it for me as well if you're looking for something different in the horror genre this, Halloween season.
All right. Nice.
See, I thought you were about to pull a fast one because I'm pretty sure that they're calling the event right now at Cedar Point called Haunt.
Yeah, it is also, yeah.
I thought
Which
you were
I
gonna be
did go to
like-
that, and that's a skip it for me.
Skip it! Wow, dude, you weren't given the fucking thrills, bro. You weren't ready. You fucking green light, gonna go ride some fucking Millennium Force and shit.
I mean, well, first of all, that Millennium Force isn't part of the haunt, but I did not get the haunt fast pass, which means that every haunted attraction was like an hour and a half to 2 hour wait, so you didn't get to go in many, and it was raining, so yeah.
But that's the
a skip it for me.
full Cedar Point experience.
Yeah, but I guess I realized when I went, like, I'm not 17 anymore. It's not really the experience that I want. I want like an experience in my bed.
Nice. Those
Respect
bedroom experiences, bro, they're pretty haunting.
Mm-hmm. They could be scary too.
All right, Zach, what about you? What about other than Joker have you seen?
The other movie that I actually saw this week is called Late Night, which you can rent it on Amazon Prime. Essentially, it's about a late night talk show host who is played by, let me pull it up here, Emma Thompson, and her newly hired assistant, or I shouldn't say assistant, but newly hired writer, who is played by Mindy Kaling. And essentially, the late night talk show is about to get canceled and bring in a new host. But it's about them rejuvenating the show, bringing essentially the show back to life from being old and bringing it to like the newer, more modern sort of comedy. I thought it was really good. I would probably say it's a see it. It's free on Amazon, so you don't have to pay for anything as long as you have Amazon Prime. I wouldn't go out and purchase Amazon Prime to go see this movie, but if you already have it, it's definitely worth a watch. Really good comedy in it. There's a couple other big name actors in there. Emma Thompson's husband in the movie is actually John Lithgow, who also did very well in it. There's definitely a couple twists and turns throughout the entire movie as well, which is really nice. And it also brings in that realm of the talk show versus talk show world that we see all the time happening, like with Jimmy Fallon. I can't remember the other one that I was about to say off the top of my head now, but
Conan.
how they always Conan, how they're always competing. So it's definitely really nice that this movie, I guess, brings in that modern twist of talk shows and where it's essentially going to be going.
And you said that's on Amazon. That's an Amazon movie, right? So you can actually stream that for free with Prime?
Correct. Yep. Yeah. You don't have to purchase it. That's what I was saying. If you're thinking about Amazon Prime and this isn't a movie to sort of sway you to get Amazon Prime to go see it, but if you already have Amazon Prime, it's definitely worth a watch.
Guess I can't watch that one.
Yet you still don't have Prime?
No, my roommate has it. Why would I get it, bro?
Well, there
So
you go.
could
If your
use his
roommate
then.
has it, just go see it.
Nah.
I don't think you're taking advantage of your roommates like you should be.
Damn, dude, you really gonna tell me to take advantage of my roommates, dude? What are you, fuck? Bro.
Hey, you were my roommate for several years.
Oh, so you were taking advantage of me?
How
You
many of
were
us had
taking advantage
Netflix?
of
One.
me?
We know the joy of giving is its own reward. But who says you can't get something for yourself, too? Now when you buy Vanilla Visa gift cards, you can enter to win one of over 10 prizes every week for 10 weeks, including a grand prize of $10,000 in vanilla gift cards. So get gifting and start sharing the delight for more chances to win. Go to get-gifting.com to learn more and enter for your chance to win. Cards are issued by the Bancorp Bank, MetaBank, and Sutton Bank, members FDIC, pursuant to a license from Visa USA Inc., and may be used in the U.S. everywhere Visa debit cards are accepted. Terms and conditions apply. Cards distributed and serviced by Income Financial Services Inc., which is licensed as a money transmitter by the New York State Department of Financial Services. NMLS ID number 912772.
Okay.
All right, welcome back. We're going to be talking about today superhero movies 2018 versus 2019. What was the better year for superhero films? So there were a number of movies, superhero movies, that did come out last year and this year that we're not specifically going to be talking about because either nobody saw them or only I saw them or whatever the case may be. So for the most part, we're going to focus on the movies that most of us have seen. But there were, so for 2018, Aquaman, Deadpool 2, Teen Titans Go to the Movies, and Venom were all released. We're not going to be talking specifically about those movies. I didn't see Venom. Teen Titans Go to the Movies I thought was fine. It's a kid's movie, so it is what it is. Deadpool 2, I'm not a huge Deadpool guy. And Aquaman was really, really cool, but I just didn't get super into it. It wasn't really for me. Did either of you see any of those 4 movies?
No.
No.
Okay.
which is also why they're not on this list.
Yeah. And then for 2019, films that we're not going to be talking about include Glass, no, we are talking about Shazam. It's going to be Glass, Dark Phoenix, and that's actually it, because there's actually only 7 superhero movies this year. At least we're only again talking about wide theatrical release superhero movies. No, animated direct-to-DVD or anything like that either. Dark Phoenix, I hated. I talked about that a few weeks ago. Glass is only like technically a superhero movie, and it's not in the traditional sense, so it kind of makes sense for those two to be the ones left off. So before we get into, we're actually going to do a kind of a movie versus movie here. But before we get into that, of the 10 movies you guys can see I've listed on the document and the ones that we've seen over the past couple of years, what were your, kind of your favorite ones from the last couple of years?
Into the Spider-Verse is the best.
Yeah, it definitely has to be near one of the top movies. But
also, I would have to go with Infinity War and Spider-Verse.
I feel like Infinity War and Endgame were always a given with it. Oh wait, did you say just this last year of movies?
These last
no,
years.
2018.
Okay.
But yeah, I think. Sorry, my connection's really in and out right now.
All right.
I think
We'll cut it.
A lot of the movies you guys said would be, some common answers. A lot of people like those, so I would have to agree. What we're gonna do is basically go movie versus movie for 2018 and 2019 and see kind of who wins at the end of the day. So what I've done is I've took the 5 movies we're going to talk about for each year, and I've ranked them. I've seeded them 1 through 5 for their respective year by Rotten Tomatoes audience scores. I felt that was the most fair and most balanced between critical reception, box office, all those factors. Audience scores, I felt like, was what we should go off of. So that takes us to our first matchup from 2018, Ant-Man and the Wasp versus 2019's Captain Marvel.
I'm going to bust
this
one open.
Pretty easy for me.
Yeah, I'm going to bust this one open and say Captain Marvel was better than Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is going against what the scores say. This says 54% for Captain Marvel and 73% for Ant-Man and the Wasp. I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp while I was still working at the drive-in movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I saw, there wasn't a lot to it that I would have enjoyed. Like if I sat down in a theater and actually watched it. But I did enjoy the references to the era that Captain Marvel was supposed to happen in. And all around the movie I thought was better too. So yeah, I'm going to give this one to Captain Marvel.
Yeah, as I've already talked about on the show, I am not a fan of either of the Ant-Man movies. But Captain Marvel is definitely a great movie. I love what it did. Definitely brought in that female superhero perfectly well. Honestly, there's not a lot I can say bad about Captain Marvel personally, but there I can always pretty much just rag on Ant-Man and the Wasp the entire time. Just a couple things that personally about it. It seemed like Isaiah, you brought up a little bit with singing at the drive-in, but it seemed like it just didn't have too much action, or it just seemed stale. There wasn't too much going on that kept me into that movie throughout the entirety of it. I remember at one point in time actually watching it in theaters. I was looking forward more to the end and looking at the cutscene, already knowing that there was going to be something regarding Infinity War and Endgame.
I would say as a standalone movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp, didn't really have anything for me compared to where Captain Marvel was like a new entrance back into the cinematic universe. So while I'm watching Ant-Man and the Wasp to find out what happens in Infinity War, I was watching Captain Marvel for the same thing, kind of seeing how she would be involved, but there was more than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you think, Josh?
I definitely agree with both you guys. Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think it's fine. I don't think it's a bad movie. But as far as the MCU is concerned, it was very episodic. It was very small, no pun intended. But It was very like the major selling point of it was coming off of Infinity War, being like, what was Ant-Man doing during Infinity War, and how is that going to lead to Endgame? And it was still one of the lowest performing MCU movies, even with that marketing, boost behind it. So, again, I think it was fine. It was funny. It had, I believe, a pretty good Stan Lee cameo. But I'm gonna have to go with Captain Marvel. I really loved Captain Marvel. Actually, it really surprised me because going in, I was more on the negative side of the hype going into it, not thinking I was gonna enjoy it because I did not like the marketing leading up to it. But I actually was really surprised by it. And when it comes to the audience score, I think the main reason it's low is because if you remember, Captain Marvel is the movie that made Rotten Tomatoes change their rules. So now you have to show proof of your movie ticket and have a Rotten Tomatoes account in order to leave an audience review, as to where before anybody could, even before the movie came out. So people were going in and bombing Captain Marvel with negative reviews before it was released. So that is kind of, their score there is kind of tainted, making this kind of an unfair matchup. But yeah, it's going to be a clean sweep for Captain Marvel. So that's going to be 1 for 2019. The next matchup is Black Panther from 2018 versus Shazam from 2019. Now, Zach, you saw Shazam, right?
I did.
Okay, and what do you think of those two movies compared to?
So, honestly, how you explained Captain Marvel, how you didn't have a lot of high hopes going into it, and you're actually like, it's going to be okay, is essentially how I walked into seeing Shazam. I did not have any sort of high hopes for Shazam. I was essentially just seeing it because I knew we were essentially going to be talking about it the following week. But honestly, it blew me out of the water, especially with my opinions going into it. I thought it was really good. I honestly loved the movie from the very beginning to the very end. I thought it was very well made. I loved all the action into it. It had definitely a good balance of action as well as just that really good narrative and bringing everything together so you knew what was actually happening in the Shazam universe of DC. Now going into that, though, with Black Panther, not a lot of negatives you can say about Black Panther. Black Panther was an extremely well put together movie. Definitely one of those movies in the Marvel universe that you look at and was like, all right, this is a milestone, or like this is one of the movies that changed how all of the other movies are going to come forth afterwards, and essentially bringing in Black Panther into the Marvel universe changed, because since the Black Panther movie, I don't think I've seen a Marvel movie that has not referenced Black Panther besides Captain Marvel, and that's only because Captain Marvel happened before it.
Yeah, I've seen Black Panther, and that movie fucking slaps. Shazam would have had to been a hella good movie to try to beat Black Panther. Damn.
I honestly think it was it's pretty close in my opinion with this, but I think I still have to give the edge to Black Panther overall.
Yeah, Zach, I think I agree with you in a lot of ways. Shazam, just because I'm such a skeptic when it comes to DC being burned in the past, was not really looking forward to. And it really surprised me. With that being said, I thought it was good. I didn't think it was amazing or anything like that. Black Panther was kind of the opposite. I was, of course, hearing all this amazing, huge hype and was thinking like, oh, okay, it's going to be fine. And it was better than I expected. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Michael B. Jordan absolutely killed it. No pun intended, as Killmonger. A lot of these unintended puns today. But I really, really loved Black Panther. And even though I don't think I'm as high on it as a lot of other people, like I don't really think it should have been nominated for Best Picture, although culturally I understand why it was, and I understand why that's a important film. I don't think it was like an amazing movie or anything like that, but as an MCU fan, I really enjoyed it, and I think Shazam is really good for the other movies in the DC universe. It's far above a lot of them, but it's just a movie on its own. I think it's just a fun, disposable movie. I would definitely go with Black Panther as well. So that's going to be another clean sweep, but this time for 2018. So we're all tied up there 1-1. I think this next matchup is where these are going to start to get pretty interesting. So our number 3 seeds from 2018, we have Incredibles 2 going up against 2019 Joker. I mean, talk about two. Could you have two more different superhero films? I'm not sure.
God, I think you said it best. There's not really a way to compare these two. Definitely different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Isaiah, have you seen either of these?
I've seen Incredibles 2, bro.
All right.
That
Well,
movie
let's start with your opinion on that one.
slaps! That movie was great, dude. I love that it focused on Elastigirl, and you got to see the more of the powers coming out from the family. You got to see that Jack being that jack of all trades and being crazy. You got more of what's the chick's name that makes the suits?
Edna Mode.
Edna, yep.
Yeah. Probably one of my favorite characters. My favorite, like, Lucian Fox-esque character. Yeah, I really like that movie. I haven't seen Joker, so it's going to be hard for me to actually say it's better, because your guys' review earlier made it sound like it was really a spectacle to see. So
This one's hard because I don't know if I'm riding off of the fact that I've seen Joker so much more recently than The Incredibles 2, because I know we actually talked about that in another series that we're talking about, like just the factor of seeing a movie more recently than another movie you're comparing it to. But I think I have to give this one to the Joker. I don't know. That's hard. I don't know. Overall superhero movie, I guess if we're keeping the superhero context in this and are truly looking at the overall superhero aspect of the movie, I have to give it to The Incredibles. But I think the Joker is a better overall movie at the end of the day.
So, I guess as the tiebreaker, I think it's difficult again because they're so different. Also, Joker is so new. But with Incredibles 2, I think I was in the minority of people who actually liked Incredibles 2 more than the original Incredibles. I thought that it was better in basically every way except for I think Incredibles 1 has the better villain. Incredibles 2's villain is like fine, but everything else, I mean, the animation has obviously gotten incredibly, much better. Everything like that, characters are better, but Joker, I feel like, is probably the better film, but this is about superhero movies. And like Zach, like even you said earlier, you don't even know if you can consider Joker a superhero movie. Like it's only a superhero movie by like its technicality,
because
source
it has
material.
Joker in it and brings in Bruce Wayne a couple shots.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Incredibles 2 for the sake of this list, but I can't say that Incredibles 2, made by the huge giant Disney machine cranked out in their factory, is a more deep or more meaningful film piece of cinema than Joker. But I think Incredibles 2 is a better superhero movie.
it's good to see my Incredibles family bring home a dub against that crazy guy over there with his Harley Quinns and shit. Family values used to mean something in this godforsaken land.
Hey man, there's plenty of family values in Joker, but they're definitely not the same way as in Incredibles.
Yeah. So next one's going to be really difficult, I think. They actually have the same exact audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Basically two parts of the same film, but we're going to have to compare them against each other. Who wants to start this one out?
I guess I'll start because I feel like I'm in the minority of this one, and I'm confident when I say I feel that Infinity War was a better movie than Endgame.
Nah. Fuck you.
Just nah. There's not even a reason.
Yeah, there is a reason. It's called Avengers Assemble.
Again, beautiful moment.
Name.
Shed a tear in the theaters.
All right, let's compare it moment by moment. What's your favorite moment from Infinity War versus my favorite moment in Endgame?
It's not even the fact that there was a better moment in Infinity War, but Infinity War left you wanting so much more. And the second you walked out of the theater, you're like, okay, I know for a fact I have to wait at least a year for this movie, and I'm already dreading it right now.
Zach sounds like that guy who's been edging for 7 years, just like fucking half jerking off. He's like, that part was way better than when I finally saw Captain America wield the fucking hammer.
Again, shed a tear during that part of the movie, but
when Scarlet Witch says, "You took everything from me," and Thanos goes, "I don't even know who you are. What do you mean?" Oh, I'm hyped thinking about it. I'm watching Endgame. Fuck this podcast.
We already lost him.
All right, so I guess that's fair, 1-1 there. So this is incredibly difficult. To answer your question, Zach, my favorite moment in Infinity War is Gamora's death scene. I think that was emotionally, and just like the way it was filmed and the score and everything. I thought that was a great scene.
I'm gonna go Super Saiyan over here.
Yeah, then obviously the end sequence with the snap, Thanos and the Soul Stone with Gamora, and everyone dusting away. I mean, that's an iconic, but the end of Endgame as well is iconic. That whole battle. I mean, that's what the whole MCU led up to, right? Wow. I'm really not. I really don't know how to answer this one. I guess the only thing I can say is the reason Endgame. I don't even know if this is true. I was gonna say the reason Endgame is able to be so amazing is because Infinity War set it up so well. But I mean, you could argue it was the whole MCU setting it up, not just Infinity War. So,
but would you have been satisfied if the MCU, say, we went into the second Great Depression and they literally couldn't release Endgame? Would you still feel like you weren't burned by Infinity War?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
It's like that because it literally ended on a cliffhanger.
I mean, it's like splitting. Take any movie, split it in half, and say which half was better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really tough one. When I think about, what? Fuck it, gut reaction. I'm going Endgame.
Yeah. You brought up the thing about Gamora, and instantly I was thinking about, dude. What do you mean? Whenever fucking. Oh my god, when Black Widow and Hawkeye are fighting over who's gonna get to kill themselves, bro. What?
Yeah. It was, yeah. Nah. Infinity War, I think, is still a really, 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 really great one as well, but I give Endgame just the edge because, I mean, it's hard to pick one over the other. You can't have one without the other, but I would argue if you had to make Endgame without Infinity War, you could. You could squeeze the events of Infinity War into the beginning of Endgame, but you can't have Infinity War and then just have no ending. So,
what do you mean? You can argue the same fact of, all right, I'm going to add an extra 20 minutes to this, and after the snap, stuff happens, and
but there's no way. So much happens at Endgame. There's no way you could squeeze all that into 20 minutes and it still be good. Like, there's no way you could even add the end of Endgame.
But if you shove Infinity War into 20 minutes before Endgame, it's not nearly as satisfying because you don't know the backstory.
Oh, you're right.
You don't develop these characters for it to be satisfying in Endgame.
You're absolutely right in the sense that would be nowhere near as good as Infinity War as a film, but you still have the entire MCU. The one knock on Infinity War is it didn't really develop any characters, except for Thanos, I would argue. All the rest of the characters you already know, now you just watch half of them get killed so that they can react to it in Endgame. You have the entire MCU of developing these characters. The only person I was really worried about was Thanos, and then in Endgame, I mean, Thanos is just big bad villain. Yeah, I loved him in Infinity War. That's probably my favorite part of Infinity War is Thanos. But in Endgame, he's just another big dude they have to kill. So, again, it was my gut reaction. I could make an argument for either one, but for the sake of this and the sake of having to move on, I'm gonna go with Endgame. Also, because that ties it up for the thing, which makes it more interesting.
Yeah, bro. Now we're 2-2 going into the number 1 seed. We're gonna recap first. The 5th seed, Captain Marvel won. That was a 2019. Then, Black Panther and Incredibles take 2 games off of 2019. And they take 2018 ahead. And now we're walking into the last fight that we have between 2019 and 2018. Spider-Verse versus Far From Home.
I'm honestly really... I don't want to... All right, I'll just say this. I want us on the count of 3 just to say which one first gut reaction this is, because I feel like this is a lot more one-sided than we think.
All at the same time, or what do you want?
Yeah. On one, say which one you think it is.
Okay.
On 3, 2, 1, Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm fucking hyped on Far From Home. If you would have asked me this 2 weeks ago when Tom Holland wasn't in the MCU anymore, I'd have been fucking Spider-Verse. But now when Tom is back in the land, bro, with the end credit scenes that happen in Far From Home, I'm so conflicted, dog. Like
your literal fucking explanation for why
Zach's lagging
Is
out,
that
so
okay?
obviously I'm the only one who can talk because I'm directly connected to the recording software. So it doesn't matter what he's trying to say because are you kidding me, bro? Are you kidding me, bro? Zendaya is the queen.
Oh no. So let me just say this. I don't know if you guys would agree with this or not. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, it's probably going to have a bunch of sequels. But as of right now, it's probably the best standalone superhero movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree.
Like, I guess if you wanted to count The Dark Knight, since The Dark Knight Rises doesn't really relate to it because Heath Ledger died in Batman Begins, Dark Knight, if you took that on its own, I guess you could say that might be better than Spider-Verse, but I really can't think of any other movie. The biggest problem with superhero movies is you got to be bought in for the really good ones. Like, the really good MCU movies are really good because you've had all this build-up. Or, I mean, you could be someone who would argue, okay, maybe you like the original Iron Man more than Spider-Verse. I could hear that argument, or even the original Avengers, but Spider-Verse had nothing except comic books, leading up to it. It doesn't connect to anything else, and it managed to take multiple storylines and multiple canons and make an incredible film with nearly no flaws that I can think of. And the only reason I would see someone not liking the film that's a Spider-Man fan is that they didn't really like the animation style, but I loved the animation style. So I was bought in there. The movie is amazing. That being said, I absolutely love Far From Home, so this isn't an easy choice, but if I could only choose one to exist, I would definitely choose Spider-Verse.
Right. My thing is, we all agree that it's Spider-Verse, but I don't want to sit here and just talk about Spider-Verse and not acknowledge the fact that Far From Home was so fucking good. Bro,
Yes, it was very good.
It is super.
Ned fucking Leeds is my boy! And he's barely even in Spider-Verse.
No, it's very good. We get amazing performance from Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. One of my favorite MCU characters from that one film. I don't know if he's going to be in anything else, but man, I mean, Far From Home might be my favorite live-action Spider-Man. It might be my second favorite Spider-Man film behind Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse was just so fucking good. It was one of those movies where as soon as you saw it, you knew, like, yep, that's an amazing film. Like, a lot of films you don't really know. Like, you're like, that was pretty good. I liked it. And then over time, you're like, man, I really liked that movie. But, like, Spider-Verse was like, you saw it and you're like, yeah, that's fucking amazing.
You knew immediately after seeing Spider-Verse where you're like, oh, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Far From Home immediately, too, but I was also like...
They're both so good.
No, again, yeah, Far From Home is great. I'm honestly very surprised that it has Far From Home as 95%, which is higher than Spider-Verse at 93%.
Yeah, I think that the animation style in Spider-Verse could be jarring for some people. I remember whenever I first saw it in theaters, like when I was watching it, it was like, did I accidentally walk into a 3D movie without 3D glasses?
Yeah.
And I was like, my fucking eyes are fucked up or some shit. I was like, did they fuck up the shit? So I could see how that could be a detriment to some people. But I'm telling you, if you took Zendaya's role in Far From Home and put her in the Spider-Verse and you switched Gwen or some shit, I would die for this movie. I would die on every hill. Because Zendaya is Zendaya. But,
okay.
God damn, it's so good. They're so good! This first seed sucks. I hate this. But,
What do you... I don't know. I think, honestly, the first seed was easier to choose than the second seed of the two in Marvel, Infinity War, and Endgame movies.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Like, I clearly knew I was going to pick Spider-Verse, but they are both amazing films.
Mm-hmm.
Infinity War and Endgame, it was like, that's a tougher choice. But as far as the two Spider-Man movies, I mean, I'll take either one on any day. But if I had to choose, it would definitely be Spider-Verse. So I guess that does it. 2018 with Black Panther, Incredibles 2, and Spider-Verse. Makes that the better year. So I guess the only question to ask now is, that was one way to determine it, but if you just look at these 5 movies in 2018 versus those 5 movies in 2019 as a group, which 5 movies would you want to keep?
I think that Ant-Man and the Wasp is such a detriment to that side that I would automatically have to pick the other side.
Yeah. If it's just these specific 5 movies, at the end of the day, I would choose 2019.
That's how fucking close they are.
And just to remind everyone, 2018 is Ant-Man and the Wasp, Black Panther, Incredibles 2, Avengers Infinity War, and Spider-Verse, while 2019 is Captain Marvel, Shazam, Joker, Endgame, and Far From Home. If we're doing the argument of the other 5 don't exist, then I have to take 2019 because I can't live in a world where Endgame doesn't exist. But talking about film quality, I might lean more towards 2018 because Spider-Verse, I think, is probably the best movie on this list. And Incredibles 2 gave us a great alternative superhero movie outside of the MCU, which Joker is a good film, but is very new and also I don't think is a great superhero movie. And Shazam was just decent. So outside of the MCU, we didn't have a ton this year.
I think out of this movie list, one thing that shows is that DC is starting to get its shit together as of 2019.
I don't know, man. Did you see the Harley Quinn trailer?
I have
my
not.
God,
And I feel like
it's so
that's what's
bad.
helping me. All right.
It's
Well, I don't
so
want to ruin my
bad.
argument. I don't want to ruin my argument, but from at least the movies that have been released in 2019,
I'm Harley
Shazam and
freaking
Joker.
Quinn.
hey,
Harley
it's okay.
freaking Quinn. Oh,
But
no.
That's the whole movie right there.
Above average movie. Joker, great film as a whole. Like they're starting to figure out something with these superhero movies, and they just need to keep going with it.
Yeah, Birds of Prey could be good, and we don't. What do we fucking know? But it has Ewan McGregor, so.
Has who in it?
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, it's Conor McGregor in it.
God.
Zach.
And I mean, Harley Quinn was one of the only bright spots of Suicide Squad, so I'll give it a chance on fucking Rent It. But anyway, speaking about these movies, that was difficult, but we came up with 2018. Do the listeners agree? Let us know why we're idiots and wrong, and how 2014 was actually better than both of these years. So
But you're going to be wrong because there was no Endgame or Infinity War there. And unless you've got something like a fucking crazy, fucking...
oh, there's some crazy shit, man.
I don't know whatever year fucking The Dark Knight Rises came out, but...
That was
Fuck.
like 2000.
Yeah.
2012.
That's the only one that I think could contest
2012? Was it really?
Spider-Man. And that's not even the best movie in 2019 or 2018. All right. So yeah, if you've got any years that you think could beat 2018 or 2019, or how we're wrong about any of those things that happened,
What do you
tweet at
think
us
Pros
and let us
Cons
know.
are?
I literally look at the Twitter all the time now. I went from no social media to being completely and utterly engulfed in social media. I fucking swim in that gulf. I'm a big old trolley shark. And what is our Twitter handle there, Josh? They could tweet at me and I could tell them fuck off.
Hooligan_radio on Twitter, hooligan.radio on Instagram.
Nice. What about you, Zach? Where can we find you on the internet if we want to just tweet at you because you got terrible opinions?
Hey, if you want to fight my opinions, you can tweet Zach.
Nice. Perfect lag so you don't have to hear what he had to say. So,
God.
what is it again, Zach?
Zach the Pigeon on Twitter.
There you go. Josh, what about you? Where can we argue with your opinions?
Well, I would love if you argued with my opinion at Josh Martin 7 on Letterboxd. But if you're a little too normie for that,
Please go out
Josh
your way to
Hooligan R.
argue my.
Normie, bro.
you could Josh Hooligan R on Twitter and Instagram, Joshua Hooligan on YouTube. Just past 300 subscribers, so thanks everybody for that. And that's really about it. So we want to thank American Spirits for their theme ADHD and Surgerberger for his See It, Play It, Skip It theme. Anything else?
Yeah, I want you guys to, if you're listening to this and you're a Cleveland Browns fan, check out Hot Takes on the Lake, yo.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, we are now Wednesday and Friday. So check us out.
Wednesday
I like that
Friday.
change.
And then you can find me on the internet at Emo Uncle Tito. On Instagram and on Twitter. I've been tweeting about Worlds, and I'll still be tweeting about Worlds when this is over. I think that's it. Who else do we like to thank?
About it.
The listeners, thank you guys.
The listeners, they can't view us.
See, we like to thank them, but we only like to thank the listeners who interact with us on social media and rate and subscribe and all that kind of good shit. Because you guys that just sit there listening in the shadows, what we call lurkers on Reddit, not helping us out. You're not helping us grow.
I mean,
so our
I do
thanks
wanna
is like
give
thanks everybody, and then we kind of give you that dart side eyes to those people who don't want to plug us, who are too cool on the internet to help out a couple of your friends over here at Hooligan Radio.
I do want to give a shout out to our friend Mike, who I saw in person and gave me a personal compliment for Hooligan Radio. So thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
He also took a bunch of stickers. If you want some stickers and you know me IRL, hit me up. I got plenty of them to still give away of our old logo.
Oh, we got
to get some new stickers.
New logo stickers. Yeah, for sure.
All right. All right, Zach, don't miss it. Ready? Go.
Bye.
ADHD sounds driving me crazy. I don't wanna take this. You're gonna have to make me. ADHD, I don't wanna take this. I feel out of place lately. So life is take me.
It's hosting season, which means it's too many people in the house season.
Can I sit on this? Nope.
Casserole burning in the oven season.
Anyone smell that? My yams!
And Aunt Meg giving advice season.
You should enter eligible New York Lottery draw game tickets with Collect and Win. You could win a $5,000 gift card to use at the Home Depot to make hosting a little easier.
Wow, Aunt Meg, that's actually great advice.
The Home Depot is not a sponsor of this promotion. You must be 18 years or older to purchase a lottery ticket. You must be 21 or older to purchase a quick drop ticket where alcoholic beverages are served. Please play responsibly. Entered by 1/7/20.
We know the joy of giving is its own reward. But who says you can't get something for yourself, too? Now when you buy vanilla MasterCard gift cards, you can enter to win one of over 10 prizes every week for 10 weeks, including a grand prize of $10,000 in vanilla gift cards. So get gifting and start sharing the delight for more chances to win. Go to get-gifting.com to learn more and enter for your chance to win. Cards are issued by the Bancorp Bank and MetaBank, members FDIC, pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated, and may be used in the U.S. everywhere debit MasterCard is accepted. Terms and conditions apply. Cards distributed and serviced by Income Financial Services, Inc., which is licensed as a money transmitter by the New York State Department of Financial Services, and MLS ID number 912772.